That show me subscribe.
Make no mistake, we're the only black people and y'all the only eat rat, eat cat people. You ain't black, you ain't that. Matter of fact, your black is repo, I'm taking it back. Cause y'all making it whack, faking jacks, y'all from the slave, raiding the tax. Bitch, we built the foundation, our innovations were groundbreaking. Y'all ain't wanna get down, now you're around, hating, faking, with the linear in and out, the ground shaking. Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say, Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say, Make no mistake, we're the only black people and y'all the only eat rat, eat cat people. You ain't black, you ain't that. Matter of fact, your black is repo, I'm taking it back. Cause y'all making it whack, faking jacks, y'all from the slave, raiding the tax. Breaks, pause, we built the foundation, our innovations were groundbreaking. Y'all ain't wanna get down, now you're around, hating, faking, with the linear eating, now the ground shaking. Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say, Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say,
That show me subscribe.
Make no mistake, we're the only black people and y'all the only eat rat, eat cat people. You ain't black, you ain't that. Matter of fact, your black is repo, I'm taking it back. Cause y'all making it whack, faking jacks, y'all from the slave, raiding the tax. Bitch, we built the foundation, our innovations were groundbreaking. You ain't wanna get down, now you're around, hating, faking, with the linear in and out, the ground shaking. Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say, Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say, Make no mistake, we're the only black people and y'all the only eat rat, eat cat people. You ain't black, you ain't that. Matter of fact, your black is repo, I'm taking it back. Cause y'all making it whack, faking jacks, y'all from the slave, raiding the tax. Breaks, pause, we built the foundation, our innovations were groundbreaking. Y'all ain't wanna get down, now you're around, hating, faking, with the linear eating, now the ground shaking. Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say, Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say,
All right, family. We're gonna have a guest. I'm believing she's supposed to have been here already. But we're gonna have a Pan-Africanist, FBA. She's FBA and Pan-Africanist. But meanwhile, let's get to this. the Black American Heritage Flag, 1967.
This is the Black American Heritage Flag, and if this is your first time seeing it, then you are in the right place.
Wait, let me not forget. Thank you for the super chat, Lineage Love. Let's get it 004. Thank you very much.
It was in Elizabeth, New Jersey, that a young man named Melvin Charles sat on the curb watching the parade go by in his hometown. And as he watched, he saw how much pride people took in waving the flags of their countries, but did not feel the same connection to the American flag. In a powerful PBS special, Charles talks about how this conviction stayed with him for many years until he joined forces with one of his neighbors, Gleason T. Jackson.
Down the street, honoring the 30th of May. And then when it came time for the Negro, at that time we were called, I remember every year we would march down. And guess what? All we had was the American flag. And I went home to my mother, and I remember asking her, and I think I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 at that point. I said, Mommy, why don't we have a flag?
They wanted something that would represent the unique heritage of Black Americans, acknowledge their contributions to the United States, and something that will be a symbol for cultural pride. And eventually, they decided on a flag. Every piece of the flag, from the fig leaves to the blunted sword and the colors chosen, had a specific meaning. In 1967, once the flag was officially designed, Charles and his partner Gleason took the flag to City Hall, where after facing opposition, it was supported by the mayor and officially hoisted in Newark, New Jersey. It was an astonishing moment of pride that ignited a movement. About a year and a half after the flag was designed, Gleason T. Jackson was killed in a factory accident in the plant that he worked in at the time. However, Melvin Charles continued his activism and spent many years educating others about the flag and all that it represented. He even released a book in 1994 called The Rallying Point, where he detailed his long journey of the creation of the flag. And after decades of educating and empowering communities with the Black American Heritage Flag, on March 15, 2017, Melvin Charles passed away. I had so many questions after learning this incredible story, so I spoke with Melvin Charles' oldest daughter, Joy Charles Kay, who is president of Black American Flag LLC. And we spoke more in depth about the Black American Heritage Flag and how more and more people today are beginning to represent it.
So to start, I feel like this is the most prominent question when people first hear about this flag is Sure. Why is it not everywhere and why do more people not know about it?
I think that's a great question. I think for many years, my father attempted to have this flag circulated across the nation. He traveled to many different states. He even wrote a book about it called The Rallying Point, and he did the best that he could with limited funds to increase awareness. However, I think a few years ago, when I basically woke up and took over, because of the internet and because of the way information travels now, it's just made it easier to get the word out now than it was then. I just think it wasn't his time back then, even though he laid all the groundwork for it. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Just seeing, how your father brought it from that point, and then you carrying that torch today to even seeing Saweetie on the Met Gala carpet with the Christian Allen gown. I mean, how did you feel when you saw that?
I was blown away. Actually, my children were blown away because they're millennials. So they were like, Mom, you can't tell us anything now. Saweetie's wearing, Grandpa's flag. But I thought, this is fantastic, that this younger generation is beginning to know what this flag is and that they are represented through this flag.
Other tributes to the flag include the former 2021 Miss Wisconsin, Kira Yuang, who won Miss United States of America 2022, as she dazzled judges with this gown for the patriotic wear category of the competition.
I was doing a little digging on the
Okay.
Instagram, and I saw a picture of what looks to be your daughter or Mr. Charles's granddaughter wearing
Yeah,
the
my
shirt.
daughter.
Yes. Can you tell me a
Yes.
little about that?
Okay, so my daughter, I think she was a first grader at that point, and at her school, they had an event where they honored or they wanted to recognize everybody's different cultures. And so, of course, because of my father, you know, I said, Justine, that's my daughter's name, you should wear, you know, Grandpa's flag. So he drew the flag on a shirt and he painted it for her, and that's what she wore back in 1996, I think it was.
Wow. From your perspective and, you know, from conversations with your father, what was the big difference between the Pan-African flag and then the Black American Heritage flag?
Well, the Black American Heritage flag really came out of my father's idea and Gleason Jackson's idea too, to have something that represented Blacks who were born and raised in America, came from slavery, worked very hard to raise families, to finally get jobs, to finally get the vote. And I would say that's the main difference, to celebrate who we are and all the contributions that we have made to this country. My father was a veteran, and he believed in this country, and he believed that we offered a lot to America. And I would say that's the biggest difference between the two flags. His whole mission with this flag was for us to be proud of who we are and proud of what we've brought to this country, what we continue to do in this country, that we belong here as much as any other immigrant, that we've been here a very long time. And that's basically what he wanted, was us to feel comfortable in our skin and in our own country, and not to feel like, you know, we don't belong here.
Melvin Charles created the flag that he always wanted as a kid, and it'll be this flag that will continue his legacy.
Just my last question, what do you think your father would say, seeing today how many people are becoming aware of something that he really dedicated his life to, and something that's resonated and it's continuing to resonate with so many that felt the exact same way that he felt during that parade when he was a kid?
I think he would be so overwhelmed by it. I think he would say, you know, well, it's about time, but, you know, he would be so overwhelmed by the number of people who have gravitated towards it, you know, people who have used it on social media. I think, you know, he would just be overwhelmed and so happy and so proud of the fact that, you know, the flag, that people are finally getting it. And sometimes, you know, sometimes it takes a generation for things to take root and to move forward.
As demonstrations continue around the country, people are beginning to celebrate their culture and their ancestry with the Black American Heritage flag.
To the businessman that was in me, and there was a piece of the child that's still in me, that I could stand there and wave the flag.
You can find more information on the flag and original designs of the merchandise at originalblackamericanheritageflag.com. This has been a report by Aaliyah Seabrooks.
Yeah, that was, I didn't know this right here. Wait, I didn't know. Let me go back. Let me go back. I didn't go back to an image. It said, Miss somebody wore the flag as a dress. Hold on. Right here. I gotta look this up.
Tributes to the flag include the former 2021 Miss Wisconsin, Kira Yuang, who won
Miss Wisconsin.
You know, the FBA movement is expanding. People are really buzzing about how we need to do a cultural renaissance.
Is that Renaissance?
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. How you doing?
How you doing? How you pronounce your name?
Nakia, Nakia, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stay on long. I'm kind of tired, but I did
Okay.
say I would chime in with you. So what, you just played a video?
Yeah. Have you ever heard about the American Black American Heritage flag?
I have heard about that. Now, I have also seen alternatively another FBA flag that had red, white, and blue. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
As
That's
opposed to the
something.
Pan-African colors?
Yeah. All right, yeah, we're American, so we wore American colors. The Pan African colors was founded by the Garvey 19, the
Yeah,
UNIA.
yeah, yeah. I'm familiar with
Yeah,
that. I remember why, and I know why. I know I've heard he created the red, black, and green. Now, those colors were also being used on the African continent with some of the Muslim countries, true. But there was a racist song out talking about how coons have no flag. And so he felt compelled to give us a flag, you know. Yeah.
yeah. Well, my only thing is this: it's the entitlement that foreigners have when they come over here. Like they don't
Mhm.
talk to our current leaders in the country,
Right.
before they start recommending things. And like you see that today, you see a lot of foreigners hop into our spaces and politically start
Right.
to
Yep.
like solve 200 years of drama and trauma and
Right.
discrimination. Right. And they got here yesterday and they got the solution. But meanwhile, you look at their homeland,
Exactly.
it's in pieces, it's shredded over the place.
Totally.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
Right. So that's the only thing which I kind of emailed you. I was trying to express that Pan-Africanism, it has a bunch of ways to express itself. Well, I'm gonna say it has different ways to express itself from different people. What would be your definition of what Pan-Africanism is?
Well, I think I told you in the email, but I
Yeah,
don't
this is for the chat.
remember.
This is for the chat.
There's nobody in the chat but me and you, as far as I can see. I
Yeah, the
don't see
chat.
but two
No, but
participants.
no, we have a live chat. What I mean.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. I get it. Okay. So you're live streaming. You have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Are you on social media?
And my Facebook, I mean YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Yes, I'm on social media too, but I don't never go on social media. Like, all I use is YouTube.
Yeah. So my definition of Pan-African is um, seeing the African continent as home, the long lost home of so many Black people that were taken, African descendants that were taken away by the slave trade or on their own, those who immigrated, just really having a connection with the African continent as well as African descendants all over the world. That's what I see Pan-Africanism is. Yeah, that's the short answer.
Okay, you said something interesting. You said taken. What do you mean by taken?
Well, millions and millions of Africans were kidnapped and taken out of Africa
Kidnapped by
during
whom?
kidnapped by whom? Wait. Are you an agent? Why would you ask me whom? Are you an agent?
No, I'm really asking you. Like that, you have the slave trade, right? You have Europeans and Africans involved in the slave trade, right?
Of course, yes. They were
Right.
rounded up by a lot of Africans that include the Muslims, the Jews financed it. Oh, it was a big conspiracy. It was a whole lot
Right.
of people in on it. We
So
know
are you
that.
so are you familiar with slave raids?
I am familiar with slave raids, and I
Okay.
know
Yeah.
there were Africans who were doing that.
Right. That's why I asked you who, because different Pan
Okay, you
Africanists
gotta be
got
specific,
different
right?
answers. Yeah, because I know Pan Africanists that act like Africans had no involvement. So I was trying to figure out
Yes,
which one are which one
okay,
are
okay.
you?
Absolutely, brother. I'm not, listen, in my early days, I'm 51 years old. In my college days, when I first began to learn about Africa, I had no idea the extent of involvement of Africans in the slave trade. I didn't even really know why they called it the slave trade, but when I realized they traded us, a lot of the chiefs, a lot of the Muslim tribes, a lot of them sold other Africans to the Europeans, to the Portuguese, to the British, to the French, to the Dutch, whoever was coming over there.
Right. Yeah. So
Spanish,
I would
yeah.
just because when I
So
was told
the they could be a number of people, really.
right now, I was just saying like country of origin wise or continent of origin, because like I said, I talked to Pan-Africanists the same way you called in, and they had no knowledge of matter of fact, I could share let me do this for you right here. I only got limited time, but let me this is why I asked who let me see, where is it at? Right here. So I'm gonna share my screen so you can see.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you was on this right here, this type of time. Wait 1 second.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm also indigenous. I know people get mad when you talk about that, but I have a traceable indigenous ancestry that I'm not just an African descendant. I also descend, which a lot of us do, we may not realize it. I also descend from the original people of this continent, the Americans.
Okay.
So I claim both.
All right. So I'm gonna play this video right here.
Okay.
Them to slavery as opposed to seeing it as, first of all, why do you believe the white man's history so much? I went to boarding school in Cameroon, and I learned that one of the tactics that they used to get Africans in the slaves in the ships, they stole them literally. They would what's the word? They would come to the chief and say, "Hey, we just need a couple of men to work for this X amount of time. They would never come back." I mean, there were so many different sneaky ways that they got people away. Do you think Africans were proud to?
Okay, so
I would like to say something as well.
Okay, so I want you to hear this right here.
wait, hold on. Let her respond.
So she just said that Africans never sold anybody. I want you to hear this guy right here. So I thought you were coming with this doctrine.
The same experience they had, we have same experience. They were our brothers. They were kidnapped.
See?
We did not sell our brothers.
See, so he said it. So when you said taken away, or like that type of language was going towards that doctrine, where they believe that we're not sold. Like white folks just came to Africa and just kidnapped us, taking us away, stolen, all these different action words.
I mean, let me explain. Let me just so we clear it up. Now I see the angle you're coming from. You are right. There are some who have really tried to dress up African history, tried to make it seem like it was just the Europeans. Now, don't get me wrong, the Europeans benefited the most from it. Period. The Jews' finances, let's not keep them out of it either. They benefited the most from it in a monetarily way in terms of when they took us over here. Yeah,
that's common knowledge. Nobody disputes that. See, but it's the stolen part that's now being disputed. That's why we like to talk about that.
Well, because what I know from my own research, I'm not going by nobody's video. What my research showed was that there was tribes that sometimes they may not have sold their own tribe. They may not have literally sold. There could have been other tribes. They could a lot of the Muslim tribes were dominant in some certain areas. They did not respect tribal Africans practicing African religions. They would be quick to sell them away. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but both happened though.
Yeah, that happened too. Yeah, it happened both. Because let's be clear, Africa had problems too, and there was a lot of disputes. There have been a lot of, warring tribes. I was going to say warring tribe. That may be a harsh word, but disputes, and that was the thing to do. Okay, I'm beefing with you. We're gonna sell your people away. We're gonna sell them away. That happened. That was what was happening in Africa, and it's sad. But yes.
Right.
Yes, Africans sold African. It may not have been their own tribe, but it could have been their enemies. That was a way to get back at people,
Right. Yeah, so it couldn't have happened without those two parties working out a deal. Right. So when I hear long lost, I don't buy into that language. Nothing is long and lost. An ethnogenesis happened over here where this is home. There's no loss anything as far as
I agree now.
Okay, so now, as far as the origins of Pan-Africanism, according to your research, where you put it?
Well, I said even though Mr. Garvey, when he left Jamaica and came here, make no mistake about it, we are the ones that supported his movement to get it to the big, huge, iconic movement that it became, Black America. But there were others that had that idea. There were others, like even the whole thing of look to Africa, a king is going to be crowned. There were other Black preachers who were preaching that in the churches here in America. But now, in terms of just the whole massive movement, yes, Mr. Garvey definitely popularized the idea. I don't want to say that. I never say he was the only one, but yes, his movement became the biggest, and that's what we definitely associate with it.
Yeah. Now that movement, like you said, you had the conference in London with a bunch
Right.
of Trinidadians. Now their understanding of it was nowhere near what Garvey did. Like that's not what they were. Their practice or their theory wasn't what Garvey ended up with. And also, when you deal with Paul Cuff, Martin Robinson, Delaney, Alexander Cromwell, those guys again, like yeah. So like they all had a different view of Pan-Africanism than Garvey. But the thing about Garvey is that he, like I told you in the email, he should have contacted some of those people in a conference because he came with something that was like brand new, right? Especially what's going on in America at the time. At the time, you had W. Du Bois, like Booker T. Watson had just passed, and even like a little earlier than that, you had Frederick Douglass. So the fight was never to leave America. The fight was to establish some respect, some rights in America because they all acknowledge that this is our homeland. So when Garvey came here and wanted to take us away, like we're like, wait a minute, like what's going on here? And it's funny, and guess what? Because you said the word agent, they felt like he was an agent. They felt like he was coming with something that wasn't nobody ever talked about. So he came with a movement that was foreign, like and he was a foreigner with a foreign movement, but he never aligned himself up with not one Black activist or civil rights activist, right? But what's interesting is that he couldn't find common ground to align himself with a Black activist, but not one. But he found common ground to align himself with the KKK. So like that was his like thorn. So how do you like how is that possible? Like you can't get together with nobody from this country, but you can get together with the most despised people of the country. Like that was kind of agent.
They accused the Honorable Elijah Muhammad of that too. At one point, they said he had met because he believed in separation, just like the KKK did. So I can understand on one hand how they might have had some interest, even though obviously the KKK was a racist Black hate group, but they believed in separating. And so did Garvey, so did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So if they had that interest, I could see how they might have met. But now the fact that Mr. Garvey was not able to align himself with A. Philip Randolph or W. Du Bois or the other leaders and thinkers at that time, it could have been that I know Mr. Garvey from what I've heard. I have philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. I know that he had a really issue with mixed race Black people. And when he got to America, he saw that a lot of those leaders at the time, they were the mixed race children of former slave owners, a lot of them. And they would call him Black and ugly. Like that colorism thing was and is still a big thing in the Black community. And he saw it when he got here. And they felt like, but they had more of a voice for America. And he also did something that a lot of them did not speak out. He encouraged Black men to stay with Black women, that they should not be marrying white women and other races, because then their wealth goes out from the community and they leaving so many women. So I respect Mr. Garvey on a lot of levels. I do. I'm not saying he was a perfect man, but I think that because he was so Black, that he disturbed some of our people here. And that's the case now. You can be so Black to a lot of our people can't handle it.
Yeah,
a lot of our people can't handle that.
Well, I don't know about that because I'm light skinned, but my father's dark skinned, my grandfather's dark skinned, and everybody along that line is super Black, probably darker than Garvey. So when I grew up, I lived in the South, went to school in the South, went to school in the North. Outside of Black jokes, I ain't never see discrimination amongst family Black. foundation of Black American as far as colorism. Like, for example, some of our greatest people to lead this or to come from this country were dark. Michael Jordan, Mayweather, and we could just go on and on and on. Like, so our greatest people to ever represent this country were jet black, some of them. But
yeah,
let me say this though. But when it comes to Garvey, it's okay to have different, philosophies and opinions, but now it's about execution, right? So you have Umar, he came with that people thought was a good idea, but his execution was terrible. So now when Garvey, again, like he's not teaming up with nobody, and we have so many educated people, dark or like super educated, triple PhDs and everything like that, and to never like pick their brain. And then when you don't pick their brain, you come up with this crazy idea where you want a couple steamships to sail to Liberia to establish a base there or some type of repatriation there. But that's a thought, that's an idea that can be talked about. But it's about, okay, how are you going to finance it? So the difference between him and Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is that he sought the KKK for financial gain to fund the trip. That's not what Elijah Muhammad wrote his letter to the Grand Wizard for, right? That was totally separate. Now, look, I'm against both of that. Like, we don't got to reach out to them for nothing.
Also, are you saying that Mr. Garvey sought the KKK to help them get, because he knew they would agree with taking some of us out of here? Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because before, and why Liberia out of all places in Africa? Now that question rhetorical. You have the ACS during the Martin Robin Delaney time. The ACS was the American Colonization Society, and what they did was they was coercing and threatening blacks that they helped free to move to Liberia, and they had really no choice, either go to Liberia, go back to plantation, cotton plantation type work, right?
Wow.
So about 10 to 12,000 people were responsible. The ACS were responsible for shipping over there, and of course they worked with the natives. They never had a great relationship with the natives, right?
Right, that's true.
They were called Americo-Liberians. So now when I research Garvey, I'm thinking he's thinking that way, thinking like, hey, the ACS helped out white and that's a large racist white group organization. So he looking like, hey, let's get another white racist organization to ship these folks to Liberia, something they never asked for. They never, those enslaved people never asked for that. And the people of the 1920s never asked for that. That was not a solution at all. But here's where it goes left. Again, put the feet down. It's execution. So he decided that he's going to fund this plan with stock sales, right? He's going to sell. Okay, here's the problem with stock sales. When you offer stock to investors, they want a return on their money. Now, right. Okay, so now he's like trying to position it like the Wolf of Wall Street. Hey, you're gonna make this much money coming back towards you, and that's how he promoted it. That's why so many people bought it. So it wasn't like a genuine, honest effort to get people to buy into this dream. Like you were telling them that they're gonna make so much money back from the small investment. But okay, so now Hubert Harrison, I don't know who Hubert Harrison is, but he was one of Garvey's main folks in that organization, right? So now he felt like Garvey was scamming the people, right? So he came up out of that and he became attached to the A. Philip Randolph, Chandler Owens, Garvey Must Go campaign. He's like, yo, this guy is scamming. And so when he met with the Klan, says one thing to offer stocks and overrepresent it. Hey, you can make this much money back. By the way, not one person ever made a dime, not one black ever made any money with those stocks. But secondly, he then got desperate and well, first of all, with the money, he was dishonest. He was funding private businesses. So when people hear about Garvey's restaurant, that's what the investor money, unbeknownst to them. That wasn't some stuff Garvey did. That's what investor money, supposedly 100% going to the steamships, that was going to different businesses that Garvey was investing in. So although he's pitching this Liberian repatriation idea, he's invested in America to stay. Y'all go, I'll stay here type. And that's how people was feeling, right? The elites of our, like the W. Du Bois was like, oh, okay, this guy's doing a bait and switch, a hoodwink thing. He's going to repatriate these guys to Liberia while he stay in America and eat fat. Now, secondly, or thirdly, he never got in touch with the representatives of Liberia to plan for such. So they were unaware of this idea. So when a couple UNI members went to Liberia, but like it wasn't because Garvey funded it. Like they financed their own trip. When it got to Liberia, the Liberia president was like, "Yo, what you doing over here?" And they told him the plan for Garvey. And what he did was he deported them and we sent the memo back for Garvey saying, "Hey, don't come back over it." See, so these things were not disclosed to the investors. So now they're still investing in his idea. And he's not being honest that the Liberian president said, "Hey, this ain't gonna happen." Right. But instead of that, instead of being honest with him, he offered more stocks. And this time, that's how he got in big trouble. He offered more stocks for a ship that he did not own. It was the Fearless Wheatley ship. And he did it by way of mail. So he got in trouble for mail fraud, but he was also defrauding or scamming his investors, not being transparent. Hey, I don't own this ship, but you're gonna give me money for a ship that I kind of like Umar. Like, give me money for what I don't own yet, but I plan to own it sometime in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why the Garvey Must Go campaign happened. And so many people at that time was like, nah, like he's more trouble for us than any good. So they graded him an F, so now you have certain movements. So after that died out, right? Certain movements had popped back up during the Black Power movement. And then you seen the RBG flag pop back up. And now there became a rebranding of Pan-Africanism, which is okay. But they had Garvey name fly with the rebranding. So now they're telling how great Garvey is, but they're not telling what I just said, of what the whole story. So it's almost like what white people do with their heroes and sheroes. They'll rebrand them, represent them, but the ugly history, they will like omit and say, this guy never told a lie, or this guy did this and this, they don't tell the whole story. So we started to do that. We started to over misrepresent certain people just for, I don't know, membership or money. And you see Umar right now doing it with Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, which is to me ironic, because Frederick Douglass' ideas were 100% opposed to Marcus Garvey ideas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm of the belief, like Dr. Malachi York said once, Dr. York out of New York.
Yeah.
Atlanta, when he talked about
Atlanta, Georgia.
We have not had one Black man who came to us that by the time they left Black people, somebody had tarnished their reputation. It's literally like we can't name one. We literally don't get
What
to
about
have
Robert S. Williams?
Robert S. Williams.
Yes. He had a chapter of the Deacons for the NAACP in North Carolina, and he ended up having a organization called the Deacons for Defense, where they were defending the civil rights leaders and the freedom riders, right?
Okay. Well, I think that you could probably name a lot of people that we might not know and that didn't happen to them, but most of the bigger names that you can name, something happened along the way to make us fall out or question them. And I'm just of the opinion that they were imperfect men, but they're still my heroes. They didn't have to have done everything right. I don't have to agree with every line by line, but I definitely won't take them down from being great Black men that tried to do something, tried to concern themselves with and for Black people. Even if they disagree with each other, I still kind of look up to them. I do. Yeah.
There's a famous phrase that you heard before. I'm a botch it, but they said hell is full with people with good intentions. I'm paraphrasing, but we have people, heroes and sheroes. We have Maggie Lena Walker with the bank, right? So the thing is, we want something great. We want a Christopher Columbus story. We don't want a regular human being story, and that's the problem.
You want a Christopher Columbus? You're gonna have to have a better than our brother Christopher Columbus, please. You're gonna have to think of a better
what I'm saying is what I'm saying. Well, Santa Claus. What I'm saying is we want somebody to do everything, and look, we don't have that. We just got a bunch of people adding to the collective. Like, for example, you mentioned A. Philip Randolph. I look at that as a hero. Like, all he did with the labor unions and the Pullman car. Yeah, right. So the labor wages, child labor laws, and all the way to mentoring Dr. King to march on Washington for the so we have heroes and sheroes, but they didn't have this grand plan of steamships. They didn't have this grand plan of a school for black boys. So we like, ain't no good.
I mean, the thing about me, brother, is that I really just form my own opinion. I know that, you know, where I'm at right now is, yes, I do love the concept of Pan-Africanism, but I really think we have a lot of local needs. I think we talked about that on the email. For personally, I feel that we have really let everybody, our communities become for sale. All of our indigenous Black American culture is like we've abandoned a lot of it to go and do something else, to go be multicultural, to go be Pan-African, and we've been abandoning our own unique legacy that we created here. That's something that I have noticed in my 51 years. There are a lot of things we feel like everybody's better than us, anything but a Black American. When people love to say you guys have no culture, you have nothing. We have American culture is rooted in Black American culture, rooted in the combination of the indigenous, all of the different African tribes that came here. We're like a combination of things. So I just, I don't know, but I don't have that long to be on the phone, at least not this time around. But I like okay, let's talk about what is your motive, brother? What is your objective? Like, what's your platform? I know you said you have a YouTube channel. What is it that you're trying to do?
So my YouTube channel is called FBA News and Updates. I look at myself as a YouTube journalist. Right? So what I do is so I bring us information, and I'm a great researcher. So I like to bring information that's unheard of but relevant, like super important. Like I had brought out the Robbins Airport, something that we know nothing about. I think in 1933. It was established right after the Great Depression. So like I point out the great things we did at the most terrible times in America, right? Right. So I remind us of those things for motivation, inspiration, and also updates. I debunk a lot of racist tropes like CRT is horrible, Charlie Kirk type information, Benjamin Fuentes. So a lot of my videos is doing a reaction off like racist rhetoric and then debunking it in real time with the chat.
I would love to check out your channel. I would love to.
I'll send you it's Foundation Black, FBA News and Updates, but I will send you a link to
And anytime that you want to, chat in this way on your Zoom, I don't mind doing it. If I have the time, I do not mind. Yeah, I make time. I try to keep my Saturday, my weekends, free to do some things that mean something to me, other than just going back and forth to the job all week. But
look, and I wanted you because most people call in are not FBA. Most people call in are from like non-FBAs, but they're like Caribbean or African, and they usually come here, and you're not gonna believe. Get your Q-tip because you're not gonna believe the hate that comes from their mouth.
Well, I will believe it because I've heard. I know how they feel. Brother, let me tell you something. I'm actually married to an African. We've been married for 3 years. My daughter, I have an adult daughter. Now her father's FBA. I have a grandson. His father, all the men in the family FBA. But I did marry an African 3 years ago, and our whole marriage has been me trying to debunk all the stereotypes, me trying to defend my people and educate him on who we truly are, because most of them have such negative stereotypes of us. They don't know nothing about us other than what they've heard, or all of the negative things that they were told about. I don't know.
So that's what this is for. This is also an education moment for those people to have those conversations. So I'm always like the same way I reached out to you, I reached out to so many Africans who had those negative views to talk about it. Hey, let's talk about what FBA really is, what it stands for, and it's not what you think it is. Because they got their own opinion based upon who they debated, in their life or on the internet. Now they want to paint all of us as this monolithic person that they debated. So I'm like, well, we don't even know if that person was even FBA. For real.
They have so many. To be honest with you, I really believe that a lot of those that are coming here are the same ones who descend from those who sold our ancestors away, because they got that same spirit in them. They got that
Right.
same resentment and meanness toward us. A lot of them. I've met some nice Africans. I was in a Christian congregation most of my life. I don't go there now, but I've known some nice African families. But
But
I
that was
think
based
that,
on religion, though.
yeah, it was right, right. It
Yeah.
was based on
That's like a
religion.
Catholic. A Catholic gonna be so nice when you're
Yeah,
at their church, but
yeah,
once you leave that church,
exactly.
they trying to
That's
lynch,
true.
trying to yeah.
Oh yeah, you never know how they really thought. But of course, like you said, in the religious setting, they were nice. But I think the thing that I've made a video about what is I made a video on my channel called FBA Culture Explained. And I think a lot of times why we always get compared with the Caribbean or Brazil or whatever, this didn't become little Africa. That's what people got to understand. The United States only imported maybe
Right.
6% of Africans during the slave trade. This was a country full of Native Americans that didn't get genocided. They mixed in. They mixed in
Right.
with those Africans that came. Some of them mixed in with the European. So our foundation of our culture is actually indigenous. I know a lot of us don't want to admit that, because that lie that, oh, the Native people just got wiped out when nobody left, but just the Europeans and the Africans came. That's just a lie. If you talk to most Black American families, whether it show up on DNA or not, it's there. And a lot of the
Right.
indigenous people got paper genocided. They were classified as Negro based on their looks, especially down in the South and Southeast. A lot of those were Black tribes.
Right.
I definitely descend from that, and a lot of us do. But it's just the point that they're looking for a little Africa here. Our culture is a combination. And unfortunately, with the integration movement, all the multiculturalism from the 80s, we did stop. We thought everything was better than being with our own people. We wanted to mix
Right.
in with everybody, and and so we've got to really get back a lot of the culture that we abandoned. We don't want to eat our own traditional food. We look down on everything that's Black. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I know you had limited time to
Are you
talk.
FBA on all sides? Are you biracial? What's your
Nah,
nationality?
I'm FBA on all sides.
Me too.
Black,
Me too. I'm FBA on all
dad
sides.
and
Yeah.
mom. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. That's good. That's a blessing, brother. That's a blessing. Yeah.
And
And yeah, sorry.
so what's your thoughts on because I know you did the video I responded to was delineation. So what was your if you could just summarize that from the chat.
You know what? When I listen to a few YouTubers, I'm not on any other social media, but I do go on YouTube. And when I listen to Tariq Nasheed, I follow Tariq since he did the Living Colors. Dr. Umar, there's another young brother, Afro
You mean
Elite.
Hidden
And
Colors?
yeah, the Hidden Colors, yes. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. Is that what I said? Did I say
You
something
said
else?
Living Color
I'm
with Marlon
sorry. Hidden
Wayne.
Colors. My bad. Oh yeah, that's totally different. I didn't mean to say that. Good Lord.
I'm like,
I
you did
have
that
all
too? Yeah.
No, no, no. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Hidden Colors. Yeah, I've became aware of him, and I respect the brother's work. But when I heard from him that the delineation movement, I saw a lot of the disrespect coming out against, especially with these new immigration policies with this administration, and how everybody wanted to be mad at us and act like we were didn't respect that we were citizens, and they're gonna round y'all up and y'all gonna be next, and
Right,
people
right.
just showed how, wow, that's what people think about us. Do they not realize how long we've been here? For some of our ancestors, they're descend from the indigenous. They've always been here. They didn't
Right.
come from anywhere else. But even those of us who descend from those Africans that were brought over here, it's been hundreds of years. We've been here, and a lot of people just don't respect that. And it was hurtful. Some of the comments that was coming from the Caribbeans and the Africans, it was so much hate coming at us. I said, you know what? It is time for us to delineate, because I think of everybody in the diaspora, we've probably got to be, I want to say, the most welcoming. I've been to the islands. I've been to several islands. I have not been to Africa yet, although I am trying to go next year. That's my plan. If the Lord, the good Lord, the Creator, Almighty God, see me through. But I do say that I have been around circles, Pan-African circles, Caribbean circles, African circles, and there's such a demeanor and negativity toward Black Americans. And even if you just want to use all the negative, bad, ugly stereotypes, they don't even consider all of the success here, all of the
At all.
education.
Zero.
all of the way the way we paid for them for education, for commerce, for even there would be no America to come to if it wasn't for 200, 300 years of free labor off of the backs of our ancestors that made this country at one time the richest on earth.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
all off the back of our ancestors. You wouldn't have nothing to come here for. America had a 200 or 300 head start off of free labor.
Yep.
And they laugh about cotton. They laugh about all those things that made this nation rich. So that's the reason why I said, yeah, I support the delineation movement. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to ever sit here and say I don't have African blood in my veins and many of my ancestors came out of Africa? I don't say that. I don't hate Africa. I've been supporting Africa since the 90s. I buy the clothes. I go to all the festivals. I do all of that. However, I love my own people. I don't want to be another nationality. I'm a Black American. And what we have in our genetics, brother, is a combination of things. We have a combination of Africans who survived that Holocaust. Many Africans did not make it. Only the strongest survived. Our genetics are different. If you get your DNA test done, well, I've taken several of them tests. I'm not saying you can trust it all, but we don't just come from one place in Africa.
Nah.
We have a lot of different Africans that make up our they mix, they made it, and the strongest of them that survived is what we come from. And so whether you like it or not, only the strong survived what they went through. And we got a little bit of the European in us, we got a little bit of the indigenous. I'm just saying that we have become, like you said, the ethnogenesis as a result of being on the North American continent. The indigenous people were never completely wiped out. A lot of them did have formed maroon communities with Africans in the swamps. A lot of them, provided sanctuary to runaway Africans. So that did happen. That is in a lot of our families, not all, but in some Black American families, there definitely is a mingling with the indigenous tribes. Now, we know on the flip side of it, some tribes own slaves too, but not all.
Right.
A lot of them were fighting. They had the same type of oppressor. They were going through the same type of terrorism from racist colonial Europeans that came. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them were. So yeah, I just feel that the delineation meaning instead of trying to be accepted while being disrespected, we don't deserve that type of disrespect. We need to be Black and proud, wear our afros, do whatever we need to do to represent FBA culture, because we paved the way for all of those folks to come into America, all of them, and they know it. They know it.
And
Deep down, they do.
What's interesting is that when you talk to or you hear them talk, right? Because they didn't tell us, but you hear them on YouTube. I'm talking about the diaspora and the continent of Africa. They will all say their parents taught them to stay away from us. So it's like they right. So they delineated first, and then some of them blame the movies. Oh, the movies we've seen about you. It's like, what are you talking about? So you guys don't know a movie is fake, and then you didn't watch Man on Fire. You didn't watch the good movies. All you did is watch. You didn't watch Blade. You didn't watch no good movie. You just watch. Or what about the sitcoms? You didn't watch What's Happening Now. Or you didn't watch the Cosby Show. Or you watched the Menace to Society on repeat. And then secondly, we never felt way about them. Matter of fact, it was always kumbaya with us because we'll watch Roots. We watch a lot of. We watch Eddie Murphy. Coming to America. We always embrace them. But this was the final straw for them.
It was.
Wait, hold on. Let me say this. So in 2001, there was a talk of reparations, right? And then at some point it was the HR 40 bill, and they was asking Congress to look into it and reparations and all the things that had happened, trying to accumulate the damages, put a dollar amount to it. But white people kept saying, hey, who are we paying?
Right.
Because all of y'all, so they the one that gave the idea. Hey, we're not paying anybody to come in this country. So now we didn't even have like a proper way to distinguish who gets paid and who didn't until 13, 14 years after that. And that's where ADOS came about. So now when ADOS was like, okay, well, the only way to figure this stuff out, it has to be lineage based, right? So once that was said, that's when in Cobra, all those people who were so-called pro reparations, as long as they thought they was gonna get something.
Right.
Once that lineage based thing happened, that's when you start to see the so-called diaspora wars.
Wow. And I'm going to tell you something. What they need to be doing is going back to their countries of origins and pursuing reparations. But nobody's owed reparations here unless you are a foundational Black American and you can trace your lineage prior to the Civil War and during the colonial period, which all of us can.
Right.
And I just feel that they have to pursue that with their countries of origin. And to be honest, even the African continent should be trying to pursue reparations from their former colonial powers. Now, the problem with them is they think that there are some Africans, and I've heard them say it, that feel like colonialism was good for them, that they gained things. No, I'm so serious. I thought that, ooh, let me tell you something. I thought that we were the only ones affected by white supremacy. You ought to hear how some Africans talk. They did a number on them too. A lot of them love their former colonial masters. They do. They love the British, they love the French. They think somehow they got something better to offer them. They leave Africa in masses. And that's the reason why I say you can't never step your big toe in my country and put me down when you fled your country. You can't do that. Because I would never go to nobody else's country and disrespect the natives that's there. I would never do it.
Right. And largely a lot of them think those countries because like for example, Nigeria, you had all those tribes there who never got along until 1900 after the Berlin Conference, where white folks came over there and said, "Hey man, we ain't about to hit all this tribal war. All y'all Nigerians and y'all better get in line and get these resources up." Right. So they think them from that. They think them to come like white man made them come together as one, just like the same thing the West Indians. They're called West Indian because that was a British idea. The British said, "Hey, why don't you guys come together, get independence, and come under one name? Stop calling yourself Trinidadian, Jamaican, and this and that. Y'all just be called West Indians under the West Indian Federation." Right. So that's why they love the white man, because he came over there and said, "Nah, y'all gonna unite. The hell with all this back and forth stuff." And that's but before they ask for too much money from the white man gonna be like, "Hold on, didn't you sell?"
Right. And they always
all right, well, we're gonna help. Right. Well, we're gonna help build a case for them.
They are,
okay.
and I don't. And you know what? That Africa has to deal with. I've heard there's a fascinating series, and it's called it was narrated by Zainab Badawi. She's was a BBC reporter, but it's called The History of Africa, and it's got several different parts. And there's one part in which they're in Ghana, and a Ghanaian professor, he was so honest. I really respect him. He said Africans need to deal with it. Role in the slave trade. We have to face it. He said it left so much of a void on the African continent. When you have millions upon millions of young people gone, it left a legacy of distrust for one another. The slave trade affected the African continent. They like to laugh at us and call us slaves. Yeah, they just call us slaves now. They'll call us that, but it devastated the African continent. So while they laughing at us, that's part of the reason why Africa's like it is now. And hopefully they'll come out of it. But I'm just saying that we came over here, our ancestors that were taken out of Africa, and made these nations very wealthy. All of the Americans through the work and our labor. So don't be jealous because you kicked us out, right? And then we came over here and we made this something that finally we can make it. And you don't like that either. Well, what do you want? What do you want? You didn't want our ancestors in Africa. They came over here and worked like a dog to death. And the ones that survived, they had to live up under Jim Crow and racial inferiority, and told them everything about them was bad and backwards and ugly and cursed. They told us we were cursed. Then we survived it. Now now we can breathe, and now you still hate us. Go back where you came from. I'm at that point, brother. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the hatred from these other black races.
That's where the country is at.
Yeah.
That's what it.
And it's
that's exactly where the country is at.
Yeah, I told my daughter that. I have an adult daughter. I said, this country don't feel like it used to. There's so many different people here now, so many different spirits and witches and demons, and they done brought all their demons over here with them. You could feel it. It don't feel the same no more to me.
And look, let me show you something that's sad. And this is like 2 minutes, and then we can wrap up. So somebody from the chat emailed me this. It was Pinky Wells. This video, and this where it's coming down to. Unfortunately, it's like we got I don't know this guy background, but he might be a racist, but it looked like they are having more in common with us than the folks who we would call long
I
lost
know,
brothers
I
and
know.
sisters. Watch,
I've heard that before too. I've
watch,
heard
watch this
people
right
say
here.
that they. Okay.
I'm gonna play it.
Okay.
People as they have in the past. But I've been heartened to see that white people specifically and black people are sick. The FBA and the FWA, the foundational black Americans and the foundational white Americans are
Wow.
sick of the illegals and the foreigners and destroying our country. So they're sick
Mm-hmm.
of this.
Okay, so you see right there, you got white,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want you. People who look like you don't want you. They won't do nothing with you. You know what?
Right.
All right, let's work out something. You
I
dig?
know, right? People are. I've heard. That's interesting because I actually heard one other person say that they might be the ones we have more in common. You know how they used to say, all skin folks, not your kin folks." But
Right.
some of these other black nationalities, you will find they are haters of us. They can't stand us. Yeah, brother, that's interesting. Though, something to think about. I just stay prayed up. I pray a lot, and I'm seeing a lot of prophetic things coming. Big changes on the way, my brother. This year, next
Yes.
year,
So
look up for big change.
you do have some folks from the Caribbean and even probably some Latinos that's probably rooting for us.
Yeah.
And they're out there, right? But look what Elijah Muhammad says. Going back to him,
Mm-hmm.
when he said the white man's the devil, he didn't believe every last one is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
What he felt was too many, and the ones who are devil, they're louder and more powerful than the ones who are not. So he said, just scrap
Mm-hmm.
them all. You just call them all the
Mm-hmm.
devil. And like
Mm-hmm.
that's where we're coming at now, like with the folks who's supposed to be aligning ourselves with, like so many of them, like because there's a lot of cool ones out there
Mm-hmm.
who want us to win,
Of course.
but the ones who want us to lose, they're more louder and they're more in
Yeah.
public, they're more in positions of power.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely, brother. I enjoyed speaking with you. Let me know when
Yeah,
you
thank
want
you
to
for
convene.
tuning into that. Yeah, I'll keep in contact with you, and then
Please,
through email, and
please.
I'm gonna give you a link of the show. Now, not every show go this smooth because I usually match energy. So when I have foreigners call up and they want to do a little back and forth, then okay, we're gonna do a little back and forth. But if they want to be serious and have a respectful, professional, conversation, we'll have that too. But so when you watch my show, you're gonna see shows like this, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see shows more rock around. Like.
Yeah. Well, you let me know if you need somebody to debate with you or be on your side or you getting double teamed. You call me up and let me know, okay?
Okay, well, I got
Let me
somebody
know.
for you. I got somebody in mind.
Okay.
All
I
right,
you bring it. Okay,
all right.
brother. Thank you.
Have a
Okay,
good
now.
one. Thanks for calling. Thanks
Peace.
for
Take
calling in.
care. Huh? Peace.
Peace. Peace. All right. Let me shout out the chat. Okay. I hope that dialogue was something different, right? So we had somebody who's FBA who knows nothing about the channel. I reached out to them the same way I reached out to everybody. Like I watched their video. Yeah, I see me do. I share my screen. I comment like, "Hey, come on the channel." So I did this for the sister. She had a video that was called Delineate, and she said Garvey name. So I said, okay, maybe she don't know, maybe she knows some things, but maybe some things she didn't consider about Garvey. So I had her come on to talk about Garvey plus everything else, but definitely Garvey's. Okay, so we got Maxwell Jenkins in the house. So this is going to be an early one, and then I'll be back my record time 9 p.m. You see how late I came on today, but shout out to Maxwell Jenkins, shout out to Deep in One, Pinky Wells, Chantel Talk, Ricardo Flott, Satch Ohio. We got Aspiring Heights in the building. We got CRU, Reality, FBA, Grand Negas. I seen Blockbuster there, Paul Ridge. We got damn, my screen all dirty. We got No Love Chuck, No Love Chuck. We got JJ Mars in the building, Fort Lang. We got Diamond, Will Post what she wants in the building. Polo Styles, the Holy FBA Codex TV1. He was asked certain questions. I couldn't repeat those questions. Some of them. We got the Prince of Paraphernalia, aka the Pop. We have to delineate, Polo Style says. And that's why I like when I bring up Garvey, because I know people like embrace him without knowing a lot about him from an objective perspective. That's why I like to compare him to Dr. Umar, because they might embrace Garvey, but I know they don't embrace Umar. So I make an equivalent comparison between the both of them. Like, hey, they're not really that different. And that's a way to like make them look at Garvey again, like give him a second look, like, hey, maybe this guy ain't so lovable and honorable and like the way you thought prior. So we have Claus and Dan, we got Iron Malt 2 Gordon. Did I say Ricardo Flott? We got SJ said need a reverse paper bag test to see how they like it. Reverse. All right. So we have Black Feather Archery, FBA Convo, Shadow 1SD. Oh, I did want to show something before I leave. So we got Toriano 3, we got Sincerely Yours, we got songwriter Sun E, DSB, we got Mo in the building, Peace to You. We got Impress La Tess in the building. We got Dale Mac Ilwayne, Sharon T in the building. Sam B was here. He's probably still here. We got Bro DSB, as I said. And before I go, let me show you this. Let me share my screen because I got some other stuff to show you. But let me show this. This came across my feed. And this is all we asked for. Okay, so we have Charlie Kirk. Okay, so Charlie Kirk left behind a vast, lucrative network of 500,000 donors. That's how many donors he had. Now, of course, you're going to have a lot because more white folks and black folks in the country. So, but look what they gave him. $85 million in revenue. See, but we would get discouraged to support each other. Oh, like financially. Oh, like Tariq. Oh, he's pimping the culture. Like all these terms where we can't support each other, but at the same time we brag at Black Wall Street. It's like, wait a minute, support yourself. That's how you be successful. So anyway, his donors didn't feel like that. His donors felt like, hey man, we're gonna support you. The hell what haters talking about. And yeah, turning point, $85 million in revenue, 500,000 donors who believed his message, right? And they put, they support this guy, even though he was racist. $85 million revenue for a racist. But yeah, so because she said funny, she said the Marvin Charles in the video, Marvin Charles didn't have the funding to really push the flag where it should have been. And it's like, yes, that's sad because we don't fund the Marvin Charleses or the whoever else is out there, but we will fund the hell out of Umar. We'll fund the hell out of Garvey, like all the stuff that should not get funding. So we've got to just be careful who what antic, what tactic we fall for, what scam we fall for. And look, everything ain't gonna be glitter and gold. Sometimes you get to fund some regular shit. It ain't gotta be, grand. It could be regular. It always gotta be grand. All right. So on that note, my dear family, I'll be on wait. D aka brother Healy says, because everybody wants to be like us, they all want to be the have-nots, right? All hell, God bless. All right, let me make you a moderator, give you a lineage wrench. Yeah, so if you got the Holy FBA Codex TV one, he got a book out there. It's called the Holy, I think it's just what I said it was called. You can find it on Amazon. You got Maximus, Maximus Boondocks, Moonducks. Got some gear. I think somebody else got gear. I think Aspire Heights, somebody else. Put y'all link in the chat and support each other. All right. Out of here, man. Peace until